Did you get Ilea?
Yes, I do have you, Ilea.
Did you get Bella?
Yes, I do have you, Bella. I can share my screen. All right, Tyler, if you're attending class, make sure you have your camera on so we can see that you're there. Thank you. Alrighty, so we're going to keep practicing with our 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. So we're on page 183. We're going to start with number 1. Probably do number 1 and number 2 together, and then we'll have some chances to practice on your own. Alrighty, so for number 1, let's see. Here, Tanya, I want you to help me label my rectangle over here with the grids.
Okay.
Alrighty. So let's start with our left side. So up here, what are we going to label this part of our rectangle up here?
3.
Top 3, right? Because there's 3 boxes. And then down the rest of the side, we have how many?
10.
Right, 10. So what's the total length of this side?
13.
13, right? All right, so how about the top? What's on the top of this long part of our rectangle?
10.
We have another 10. And then over here on this side,
2.
we have 2. So our total length on the top?
12.
Right, we have 12. So I'm gonna have Riley, you can help me with figuring out what multiplication problems are going to use in each of our rectangles to find our area, alrighty? So for this first rectangle, how are we gonna find the area?
Do 3 times 2.
Right. And then over here in this one?
3 times 10.
That's 10. And this long skinny rectangle down here?
10 times 2.
And this big one?
10 times 10.
Right. Alrighty, so Sarah, I want you to help me. We're gonna solve our multiplication problems. To put them in this picture over here. So first we had 3 times 2, and what does that equal, Sarah?
6.
6. And then in this box we had 3 times 10. So what's 3 times 10?
30.
30. Next, what did we do for this box down here?
10 times 2.
Which equals
20.
20.
20.
And then big one right here. What did we do?
10 times 10.
What does that equal?
100.
100, right? Cross off our zeros. And then 1 times 1 is 1. Alrighty, so Tessa, Now that we found each of the areas of these smaller boxes or rectangles, what do we need to do to find the area of the total rectangle? I think you're muted, Tessa. Are you muted? No, I can't hear you. Do you have like a headphones plugged in or something? No? Interesting. Alrighty, that's okay, Tessa. Let's see. Sophia. If I found my areas for each of these smaller rectangles, what do I need to do to find the large rectangles area?
Sorry, it wasn't letting me unmute. For the larger rectangles area, you add them all up.
To figure out the area of this
Oh.
whole rectangle, the 13 by
Yeah.
12 rectangle, what do you do?
You add all the things you got up. You add them all up.
Right. So down here in letter B, we'll kind of write out our whole long sentence. So Sophia, what do we have first? We have 3 times
2.
2, which we saw was 6. Over here we have 3 times
10, which is 30.
Yep.
And then
And then-
there's 10 times 2, which
Mhm.
is 20. And then 10 times 10, which is 100.
Right. So like you said, we need to add these all up. So I'm going to write them over here on the side so I can make sure I line up all my numbers. So when I add up the 1s, Sophia,
You get 6.
and then when I add up the 10s,
You get 5.
and then in the hundreds,
You get 1.
our final answer is
156.
156. So that's our answer for 13 times 12. All right, does anyone have any questions? Sarah, do you have a question?
I was gonna say, to fix her audio, if that was what it was, Tessa could just go into audio settings and then turn up the sliders for input and output level.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can try that test and see if that will help. All right, you ready to move on to number 2? All righty. I'll move my paper down. So now we're doing 17 times 34. So first we need to label the sides of our rectangle. So Carissa, I want you to help me label the sides of my rectangle. So if we have 17 times 34, what are we going to put on this side?
17.
Right, how are we going to break it up into 2 parts?
10 and 7.
Right, 10 and 7. And then on the top,
34.
and how are we going to break that up into 2 pieces?
30 and 4.
30 and 4. All right, now Ilea, I want you to help me. We're going to find the area of each of our rectangles. So for this first rectangle, what do we need to do to find the area?
We need to multiply.
Yeah, we need to multiply. So what are we going to multiply to find the area for this rectangle?
4 and 7.
Right. We can do 4 times 7. And what does that equal?
That equals 28.
Right, 28. So you got 28. I'm going to write that as my first partial product in my vertical problem over here. All right, I need the next rectangle. How are we going to find that area?
Multiply
What are we going to multiply?
30 and 10.
For this rectangle up here,
Um,
so we have 30 as the length of this rectangle. What's the width of our rectangle up here?
17 means 7.
7. So we'll do 30 times 7. And what's 30 times 7?
Um, 210.
Right. So we can cross off 0 and add it to our answer. And then 3 times 7 is 21. So I'll write that partial product over here too in my vertical problem, making sure that I line up my 1s and my 10s. All right, Ilea, for the area of this rectangle, what do we need to multiply?
4 and times 10.
Right, 4 times 10. And what does that equal?
40.
Great. So that's another partial product I'm going to write over here. And then for this last rectangle, Ilea, what am I multiplying to find the area?
30 and 10.
Right, 30 and 10. And what is 30 times 10?
300.
Right, 300, because I can cross off my 2 zeros and add them to my answer. And then 3 times 1 is 3. So that's the last partial product I'm going to write in my vertical problem. All right, so Briley with a B. I have all my partial products, so what do I need to do to find my final answer? Right, we need to add them all up. So when we add up the 1s, what do we get?
All of these words are in
We add
that
up our 1s, we have 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. So what does that equal?
word family.
8, right?
Take a
And then
look
we
at
add up
that,
our 10s.
because we are going to read these together. Okay, ready with me?
7.
That, that. We are going to come up together with some more rhyming words.
578.
So,
Right, the final answer is 578. Right, how are we feeling about using the area model for our multiplication? Feel good? I see lots of thumbs up. That's good. Are there any questions or things you're confused on? No? All right. And I'll just show you here, like each of our rectangles has one of our partial products. So that's how these match up. So that's how our picture connects to our vertical problem. Right, so I'll flip to the next page, 184. And for this one, we'll do the bow tie method so that we can practice that one again and see if we remember how the bow tie method works. So we're gonna write our problem vertically and draw our work bar down the side.
I'm not sure if we mentioned this yesterday, but when we do the bow tie method, That's, it's a way just to remember. It's a good way to help you check to see if you did all the steps, but it's partial products, just like we did with when we had like 3 or 4 digits on top by 1. This is partial products also. The bow tie is just a way to help you remember, did you do all the steps?
Right. So we're still going to have 4 partial products listed, just like we did in the last problem. But this way, we're not using a picture. We're kind of just using our numbers. And the bow tie is a way to help us remember, like Mrs. Chev said, to make sure we get all of our steps done. All right. So Colin, who are our 2 teams for our multiplication wrestling for our bow tie method?
The 2 teams are 45 or 40 and 5 and 18 or 10 and 8.
Right. So we have 40 and 5 are on the team, and 10 and 8 are on the team. So Colin, who's wrestling first?
The 8.
The 8 is going to wrestle who?
The 5.
Right. So when the 8's wrestling the 5, what's our multiplication problem we're going to write on the side of our work bar?
8 times 5.
Right, 8 times 5. And then what is 8 times 5, Colin?
40.
40. All right, Maria, I want you to tell me who's wrestling next.
8 and 40.
Right. I'm glad you remember that it's not just a 4, since the 4 is in our tens place, it's 40. So what's our multiplication problem?
40 times 8.
Right, or 8 times 40.
Yeah.
8 times 40.
You cross off the 0
Mhm.
and then you put it in your answer. And then you do 8 times 4 and that equals wait. 32.
Right. I'm making sure I line up my numbers. All right, so Brian, who's going to wrestle who next?
10 times 5.
Right. My 10 is going to wrestle with my 5. So our multiplication problem, like you said, is 10 times 5. What's 10 times 5, Brian?
50.
And then Bella, who's wrestling next?
10 times 40.
Right. 10 is going to wrestle the 40. Like you said, our multiplication problem is 10 times 40. And what's 10 times 40, Bella?
400.
Right. We can cross off our zeros. And then 1 times 4 is 4. So now we see our bow tie on the top. We know that we're all done multiplying. So Orlando, now that I have my 4 partial products, what do I need to do to find my final answer?
You got to add them.
Right, we need to add them all up. So in the ones place,
0.
and then in the tens place,
11. To put down the
Right.
1 and carry the 1.
and then in the hundreds,
8. 8.
good.
810.
Yeah, our final answer is 810. All right, so does anyone have any questions on using the bow tie method? Or, just doing our partial products with our numbers, not using a picture? Or is there anything that anyone is confused on? Alrighty. I think now, since we've done a little bit of practice, I think you guys can do one on your own. So we'll use number 4. And I want you can use either the area model if that helps you better, or you can use the bow tie method if that helps you better. So I'll give you a couple minutes. You can work on it on your own. When you're finished, can you give a thumbs up on the Zoom, how you can put the reactions, put a thumbs up so I know you're done, and then we'll go over it together. All right, I see some of us are starting to get finished up. All right, I think most of us are finished up. If you're not finished, that's okay. You can follow along as we go over it. So who used the problem? Use the models to solve them. Oh, Bella did. All right, so Bella, walk me through how you use the area model to solve this one.
On the top corner, I put 5.
Over here?
No, on the side, I meant.
Oh, on the side, okay. And what'd you do
And
next?
underneath the 5, I put 40.
Mhm.
And then on the top, I put 9 on the side. And then over on the other side, I put 10.
Right. Each of our areas. What did you do, Bella?
I did 5 times 10.
In this box, right?
Mm,
And that equals.
it equaled 50.
And then for this box,
5 times 9
equals.
45.
And then for this box,
40 times 10 equals 500.
500?
No, 400.
400. There we go. And then for this box,
40 times 9.
what's it?
360.
Right. So then what did you do next?
I added all the answers together.
Right. All right. So when you added them all up, what did you get?
855.
Yeah, we have 5s in the one place. 15, carry the 1. 855. All right. So now we'll check Bella's work. Since I think a lot of you guys used the bow tie method instead, we'll do it over here with the bow tie method so that we can go over how you did it and so that we can double check. All right, so Nina, did you use the bow tie method for this one? All right, so what did you do first?
You do 9 times 5.
So 9's gonna wrestle the 5. So I can write 9
Which
times
equals
5.
45.
Right, equals 45.
Then you do
What'd you do next?
times 40.
Right, 9's gonna wrestle 4, but that 4 is in the tens place. So it's 9 times 40.
And then you get then you take your 0 and put in your answer.
Mhm.
9 times 4 equals 36.
Right,
Then you do
Next.
then you do 5 times 10.
Right,
which
so
equals 50.
right, the 10's gonna wrestle the 5. So we have 10 times 5 is 50.
And then then the 10 wrestles the 40 and it equals 400.
That equals 400. And then what did you do next?
I added them up.
Right. And then we add up, we get what in the ones place?
A 5.
And then in the tens,
You get a 15. So you put down 5 and carry your 1.
right? And then in the hundreds,
You get an 8.
right? So do our answers match?
Yes.
So now we're extra sure that we did it right. So when you did on your own, give me a thumbs up if you got the same answer, if you got 855. Good. That's great. All right, Mrs. Chev, do we want to do any more practice?
I'm gonna unshare just so I can see everyone. All right, how many of you guys feel, there we go, like you're gonna be okay and successful with doing the 2 problems on the exit ticket on your own? Okay, so on the exit ticket, there's only 2 multiplication problems. I want you to solve it in your packet. If you don't have a packet for some reason, get a piece of scratch paper. Don't try to solve it right on the screen, okay? That's where we see the mistakes. And then whenever I ask, let me see your work, and you don't have any, that's when there's a problem, because you're not following directions and you're just trying to kind of cut corners, and that doesn't usually pay off. So solve first. We had a lot of success in class today with doing the 2 problems. 2 out of 2 correct first time on the exit ticket. You can choose the method that you like the best. And actually, it's pretty much 50-50 back here. Half the class likes the area model. The other half really likes partial products. So it's going to be your option. So right now it's 1:33. So you've only been on the Zoom for 33 minutes. I'm completely confident that if you get off here right now, your exit ticket should be submitted by 2 o'clock. Okay? We're not taking any breaks to go outside, not walking the dog yet. Exit ticket first. And then if you want to take a 10-minute break before you get on your extra math, then I think that would be okay. But it should not be 3 o'clock, and I'm looking around for your exit ticket. Tanya?